thank you all for being here, and to all the witnesses, your contributions to the country and to science and to our nation's security. You won't find a bigger fan on the Hill of NASA and the private-public partnerships that we're enjoying. This is a true space renaissance. And I should say that with all deference, Mr. Chairman, you probably are just as big a fan of NASA and the private partnership as I. And so, you know, this is not coming from a place of being combative, but trying to be cooperative in the spirit of being successful for these missions, especially the science and national security implications that a lot of these missions carry with them. And while I appreciate the Eclipse sunglasses, I would have preferred a set of glasses that would have prevented me from being blindsided by the actions that the administration has taken over the last few months when it comes to the Mars sample recovery program. Mr. Young said that the fate of MSR is in the hands of NASA as well as Congress, and I disagree with that. It certainly doesn't feel that way. I think we have a better relationship than what I think you assumed, and you left us in the dark, frankly, with some reprogramming that took place under loopholes during the CR. As the authorizer on this committee and as the appropriator on CJS, I would have really appreciated a heads up that we were going to lay off close to 600 employees at JPL before that decision was made. I was aware before it was executed, but not before that decision was made. And we have caused irreparable damage in those decisions. And I understand that the Senate mark was at $300 million and ours was at $975, and we were in the midst of a CR, and there's a lot of uncertainty and ambiguity there. And as a former, you know, program director myself of $100 million programs, I understand that uncertainty is not good. But we could have cooperated, we could have communicated, and we could have landed on a place where maybe we should have preserved those jobs. And what's happening now is those folks that were at JPL aren't just leaving JPL, they're leaving the industry. In many cases, they're leaving the state, and we're losing a cumulative of anywhere between 3,000 years and 5,000 years of corporate knowledge of engineering and design and early development design work, expertise that ain't coming back. And so I don't know how we're going to address the workforce issues. It was a premature decision. It was prior to the IRB response team recommendations that we're expecting here in the spring. And I understand you can drive a truck between the $300 million and the $975 million or so that the House marked to, and that's uncertainty. And I definitely have received your message that CRs are bad, but I think you exploited that. I think you exploited loopholes in the CR language to fund a level that is well below congressional intent and certainly well below executability levels. So I've submitted a letter to the administration, to Administrator Nelson, with 20 colleagues. By the way, I'm the only Republican on this letter, so this is a bipartisan thing from California, requesting that you fund MSR at $650 for the remaining part of FY24. I understand that's going to require some reprogramming and different profiles on your cost expenditures. We'd like to see a response to that, but I think we are also asking to not have any other reductions in forces, rifts, or layoffs as a result of the decisions already made, so that we can try to salvage what workforce talent we have there as well. So I guess, Dr. Fox, my question is, will you comply with the direction in the FY24 spending bill, which hopefully will be executed here shortly, to not further reduce staff on the Mars sample return program?
Thank you for the question, and actually really thank you for your unwavering support of the Mars sample return. I really genuinely mean that, and I really do appreciate your support on that. Yeah, we did brief Congress a number of times, the appropriations on the plans for Mars sample return. I think I actually had the pleasure of speaking to you myself.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that.
And you know, with the uncertainty, if we had allowed the spending on Mars sample return to continue at, or to continue at the 2023 level, we would have breached the Anti-Deficiency Act before February, and of course we did not want to in any way do that. So we took the measures to limit and to actually follow the the recommendations of the Independent Review Board.
I'm running out of time, but I want to ask a question looking forward. Looking forward for the rest of the fiscal year, are you committed to not reducing additional staff, and will you commit to allocating sufficient funding in FY24 and 25 to ensure the timely retrieval of samples of Mars? And I want to be very clear, I support you, I support NASA in this program, but it's not unwavering. If we can continue to show premature and, in my opinion, reckless behavior patterns out of reprogramming, I will want to do deeper dives into the program and ask even more questions. But if you can answer the questions for the record, you commit to retaining the current staff levels as they are for the rest of the year moving forward, and in an FY25 continuing to follow our congressional intent with funding levels to execute the program sufficiently.
So we look forward to the results of the independent review team that will be coming out in the spring, and we certainly commit to work closely with JPL to continue to maintain the critical workforce that will be necessary to do these missions.
Okay, thank you. I'm out of time. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to follow up on the Mars sample recovery discussion that we had. I'm a dog with a bone on this one because it's so important to us, and the damage here is tremendous. Not to just my district, but to all of Southern California, to all of, frankly, the NASA workforce industrial base, and the implications of this bad behavior are far-reaching. This was premature, pre-decisional, based on pre-decisional conversations in Congress that were happening real-time between both the House and the Senate. Very short-sighted. And has caused irreparable damage. I describe this as nothing short of a bag job against the good folks at JPL, people who are now unemployed, looking for other industries, looking for other jobs, almost 600 folks as a result of this bad decision. It's a slap in the face to Congress, both the authorizers and the appropriators. So you mentioned, Dr. Fox, the Anti-Deficiency Act. The Anti-Deficiency Act is meant to be a way to ensure that agencies aren't spending more than what they are appropriated to. Your FY23 appropriations number was $818 million, 818.8, I believe, to be exact, million. Okay, you made the decision for the layoffs on February 6th, which is about roughly 35% through the fiscal year. So 35% of 818 is about $286 million. So you were either, this program, and I don't want to say you, this program was either burning hot at a rate of 3x, and you were therefore looking at an Anti-Deficiency Act breach, or the remaining money, the delta between 818, which is what you were last appropriated, and 286, which would have been your sort of SPI for a 35% profile through the FY23, was reprogrammed to another program. So this argument that you made these decisions based on an Anti-Deficiency Act actually is technically and legally not true unless you were burning at a 3x rate, or you did reprogram money to another program from MSR to something else that we weren't notified for. And I would actually submit that the appearance of what has been done here is not an Anti-Deficiency Act violation or an attempt to prevent an Anti-Deficiency Act violation, but it looks more like an Impound Act violation to me, which is where you don't execute the money that has been allocated to you with a specific purpose through congressional appropriations process. So I don't want a deference to you. I don't want you to answer that question here right now, but I would like a deeper dive into why you are asserting and your staff is asserting that the rationale for these layoffs was an Anti-Deficiency Act, because it frankly, technically, legally, numerically, programmatically, cannot hold water unless you were burning at 3x, which I don't think you were. I understand you're in the midst of an IRB. There was confusion about the technical solutions moving forward. I understand there was confusion about the timelines and schedules that would be derived from those technical solutions. And I also understand Congress was doing you a disservice with a CR. But to baseline against a $300 million number that came out of the Senate markups is not what you anchor to when you start talking about Anti-Deficiency Act conversations. Okay, you anchor to your previously appropriated number, which was 818. So happy to let you comment on that right now if you want to. If you would prefer to answer for the record later with the actual numbers and your SPI and your actual burn rates and show us where money was being reallocated before February 6th to substantiate the layoffs, you can also do that, but I'll defer to you. I want to make sure a lot of these jobs are already lost. A lot of these people are already gone. So I don't know how we do MSR correctly without that workforce. We're already challenged, and there's already, you know, an unprecedented level of competition right now between primes to go hire these people, and they're getting scooped up. But I'll defer to you, Dr. Fox, if you want to respond.
I'm happy to take it for the record so we can get you all, I mean, you are asking for some very deep numbers that, of course, I don't have at the tip of my tongue. So we're happy to take it for the record. Obviously, again, we are, you know, we do not direct JPL on their workforce. We did provide them financial guidance that was based on what we thought was going to be available. And having been given the information, or you know, with the Fiscal Responsibility Act coming out at the 20, no higher than the 2023, and a cut below that, I will just note that the cut to planetary is nearly $500 million. Against the 23 enacted, and it is $666 million against the president's budget request for 24. So it is a very big cut to planetary.
Yes, but from an Anti-Deficiency Act and amount of time, that is not what you should have been anchoring to. We were allowed and we were able to continue to fight for the higher dollar levels, and so we can continue this conversation. But I'm scared. I'm scared, worried about the workforce, and it's not my district. It's Southern California, and we'll be looking for responses to the letters from the delegates from the area. Thank you. I yield back.